is most people, they just leave the Nashville system at that, and they don't take it any further.
That's what we call it, the Nashville number system.
Nashville notation.
Well, it's called the Nashville notation.
Okay.
And before that, it was called the Juilliard School of Music.
Yeah, except Juilliard uses Roman numerals, and they don't read
Yes.
those in Nashville.
Exactly. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. They used to play.
Same system.
They played the Roman numerals, but the guys in Nashville couldn't read the damn Roman numerals, so they changed them to Arabic numerals. And it's very intuitive because that's exactly what's happening. All right. The first thing is there's 3 different major scales, 3 different ways of playing the major scale.
Okay.
All right. The first thing is, we're going to play off of G. If you're starting with your index finger, you start there, move to the 5th fret, to the 7th fret, then right back to the 3rd fret, the 6th, 5th again, 7th, and then one shy, and then there. So you have do, re, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then from here, 1, 7, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And I'm doing it in G, so you can do it on the dots, okay?
I gotcha.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. They usually come in with the ring finger, slide, and then come in with the index here, and then you can extend it by going to 2.
And that's our
And then 3.
One here. Yeah, or a G.
And then you wind up with the middle finger, right? So you start with the index,
So that, yeah.
then you wind up on your middle finger.
Yeah, right there.
Then coming back. And so on bass, because it's so wide,
Yeah.
it's index, ring, slide. Index, ring, slide. Index, and then middle. Now if you want to continue it, 1, you go up 2 frets with your pinky to, that would be 2.
Yeah.
Then you come back over here with
Yeah.
your index to 3. 3 and 4 are next to each other.
Yeah.
So you're again on the middle finger, and then again your pinky, 5.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5, slide, 4, 3, 2, slide. Yeah. So you slide up, and then when you're coming back, you slide back.
Okay.
So you see? So here I'm going to my ring finger sliding up, index, ring, slide up. But coming backwards from 6, I go 6, index, slide. And try that. While you're doing that, I'll pull them out here. I brought. Is this card for you to fill him out?
Yeah.
Give us particulars. Now the first thing I want to say about this is this particular fingering pattern is purely academic. It works okay, but it ain't fast. It's not fast.
Well, I always thought, like you're like this, like.
Yes, no, that's the correct one. I just want to show you. So here it is, starting with the index finger. Okay? So there you are. Then you slide
1,
2, slide to 3, go to 4, 5, slide to 6, then 7 is one short, and then right to your middle finger. And now what happens is you have the middle finger pattern, this middle finger pattern here. Yeah. So you can go an octave and a half that way. And you're going over 5 frets wide. line, right? Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And just practice that. Now, the reason for this, even though it's just academic, so you can learn where your numbers are.
Right.
And it gives you an alternate for getting
Oh,
there.
I see. You're giving me the key, the number of the key.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, with them.
Absolutely. You're giving you the
Yeah, I see. What you
and
mean.
this is regular guitar. For bass, we're just cutting it short.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, there's only 3 ways of starting. You can start on the index finger, you can start on the middle finger, and you can start with the pinky. But there's no way of starting a scale with your ring finger. And I
Yeah,
tried.
that's kind of a
I
weird-
tried figuring it out. It's just too odd. Now, jazz musicians always use this fingering pattern. They like this. You know, you go down the road and you say, hello. Okay, well, that's my way of saying where number 1 is. I'm number 1. And that always tells you what key you're in. So you put this long finger that you have right there on G, and you're in the key of G. You put it over here on A, you're in the key of A. You put it on B, you're B. So wherever you put that finger, that's 1. And it gives you a note below, which is 7. 1. Then you have your 2, where you skip a fret. And then you come back here for 3, right next door to 4, 5, come back to 6, and now you use the other finger, and
Yeah, that one I'm pretty fluent with.
that's the one you should be fluent with, and this is the one jazz musicians recommend, and you jazz musicians will play arpeggios through this pattern like,
Yeah, I know.
boom. And what they do is they practice skipping. They practice going 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 1, or 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3. And that's your major scale riff too. So that gives you your first major chord. Then you can move that anywhere. Of course you can. And you can. Then the thing is 2, 4, 6, 4, 2, 4, 6, 4, 2, 4, 6, 4. Then you got your 2 chord. Then 3, then you go 3, 5, 5, 7, 5, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3. There's your 3 chord. 4, 6, 1, 6, 4, 6, 1, 6, 6, 1, 6. 5, 7, 2, 5, 7, 2, 5, 7, 2, or 5, 7, 2, 2, 2. I'm sorry. 5, 7, 2, 5, 7, 2, 5, 5, 7, 2, 7, 5, 7, 2, 7, 5. 6, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 15, 3, 2. And what I'm doing is I'm just practicing every other number. And by practicing every other number, you're going to get all the chords in that key.
Yeah, right.
And that is a really important one to learn.
I mean, I'm going to try that. I've never thought about looking at it like that.
Yeah, so you see 1, 3, 5, 3, 1.
Oh, I know.
That gives you your 1 chord, right?
Yep.
But 2, 4, 6, 4, 2 gives you your 2 minor chord. So if we're in the key of G, that would be an A minor chord. 2, 4, 6, 4, 2. It's a nice pattern too. 2, 4, 6. You see, it's always when you got this in this tight little four fret bundle and your fingers fit those frets just perfect. And here's another thing I recommend. I used to just shake my hand and let it relax, and then lay it on my guitar and move it around to see which frets the natural space. You see right there, the natural spacing of my fingers fits those 4 frets, and that's the position I would practice everything in.
Makes sense.
Because you want your fingers relaxed. You don't want them too wide, stretch them. You don't want them too cramped. So you want them where if you just relax your hand and they're just naturally falling apart there, see that fits just 1 finger on each. So if I'm playing up here on the 3, 5, 7, I'm on the ninth fret here. There's 7. Wait, 1, 5, 7. Yeah, I'm on the ninth fret here.
I'm on C.
Well, C will be the 8th fret.
Yeah, I'm on C. What it feels like.
So playing off of the ninth fret, that gives me that fret there to anchor my eyeball on. That gives me that place to anchor my eyeball. And then I just and then my fingers are not, especially going to the pinky, you want to get that pinky strong. A lot of people don't even use the pinky.
Oh, I use it all the
They
time.
avoid it, and that's a mistake. It's a big mistake. Even though I have arthritis, I found that even with my arthritis, if I hit that finger just right, I don't feel the arthritis. But if I put my finger in wrong, or I come down too tight, or I come too much at an angle, then all of a sudden I feel it in the joint. So the nice thing about this is having a little pain there, I can move my finger around until the pain is gone, and I know I have my finger in the most natural position.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people too, is it should never hurt.
It shouldn't.
And if it does, move your fingers.
Yeah, and move your finger around.
Tell us everything.
Exactly. So now, with that pattern, what I do to get used to that scale is the first thing I do is play what's called 2-note phrases. So I'll go like this. I'll go 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 1, 1, 2. So let's go down here in A. Then 1, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. It's as if you're playing 1, 2. Now you think of that as being your new starting point. And that's going to change the phrasing. And then that changes the phrasing. People do this, they go. And that's not it. You're losing the 2-note phrase. It's 1, 2, then 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7.
It's almost like it sounds kind of like a shovel.
It is. You can do a shuffle, and that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. You can go. Yeah. Now, the next thing is to get your fingering patterns faster. You stop thinking about it mechanically and start thinking about it musically in terms of phrasing.
Okay.
And with a 2-note phrase, there's only basically 4 things that you can do. You can make the first note long and the second note short. So I go like this. And you practice letting your finger up and stopping it with you dampening it. So short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short.
Yeah. I actually practice, I do that a lot, but I end up using, if I play something, I'm like I'll
dampen it with your right hand and the right
But
hand.
I gotta hit check your thumb.
Ah.
So it always
So you
sits
can-
there, and I always go like this, flat. right on
Yeah, I
there.
got you.
And then I use the back of
You know,
my.
my friend Wooten, he goes up and down, and he's the only one I know that thumbs up. And my friend Rival has learned to do this. This guy Rival in town, and he plays the guitar with just his thumb, doing up and down motions, and he does some of the most sophisticated sweeps with his thumb,
Wow.
and especially when you're doing odd numbers like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, where you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He can pull that. He can go blah 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 blah, and the rest of us are going blah 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 like that. So now the reason I'm doing that 2-note phrases. Let's take a look at it musically. What it's going to do is it's going to help you develop technique. And so you have 2 notes that you're playing. And what you do is you play the first one long and the second one short. Okay? So this would be 1, 2, and then you play this one and that one again, long, short, so it would be 2, 3, and then 3, 4, long, short. 4, 5, long, short. Okay? And that's how you get that phrasing. And by listening to that and making it as musical as you can, your fingers will always follow behind doing the right thing, and you'll stop thinking about them mechanically. And what happens is they stop being mechanical and they start being musical. The other thing with this thing is you got to get these numbers in your head. And then when you do that right, another thing I recommend is saying these numbers out loud when you're practicing, because then your ear hears it, and eventually your ear will lock on them.
Yeah.
And then you'll actually start to hallucinate the damn numbers. When I'm walking down the street and I hear a tune, I'm hearing 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 4. I'm whoosh. I come home, I write that down, boom, that's the song.
It's funny how that happens. I know I was playing a gig one time, and what were we playing? We were playing Patsy Cline tune, and I said, I think it was Patsy Cline. I can't remember which one. Anyways, I said, and it would come because we were thinking we used to do a lot of open mics,
Right.
open jams. So that's where it really paid the number system, because we'd be like, well, it's an A, and okay, so then we'll do, walk a 1, 4, 5, and then we'll, So I just sit there and I start playing. And I remember one time I thought to myself, I know this song. And it was like, I can't remember what key it was in, but I knew that the next note was a 2.
Right.
And I slid up to I went to the 2, and I'm like, well, I'm right. My guitar player, who was sitting there, he's listening, he turns around, you gotta have that pause where you want to talk, but you're playing.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's not a 2. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And then we were playing it, and about halfway through the song, he turned around, he's like, you're right. And then we talked about it. He's like, because he said, 2s generally tend to be minor.
Right.
And he's like, but it wasn't a minor 2, it was something else. He's like, but it was a 2. And
In jazz,
so
they do
you
that a
sit there
lot
and
too.
you hear that, and you're
Yeah.
like, man.
They use the major 2 instead of the minor 2, yes.
It was some weird, I don't know what it was. But
Sometimes
for me, it was just a 2.
Well, because they substitute the 4 chord for the 2 chord. And if you're going to substitute the 4 chord for the 2 chord, you always make the 2 major. And
Okay.
then they
Because fours
sound
usually major.
sound similar.
Threes, seems like 3s are minor generally.
Yeah.
Is,
Almost always 3s are minors, but 2s can be major. Especially 2-5-1, 2-5-1 chord progressions when you're doing jazz. That they do that a lot, and they'll make it major. They'll make it minor one moment, major the next. Same with 6. 6 will either come in as major or minor. If it comes in as major, then what happens is your melody's going to wind up having a lot of 5 sharps in it and 1 sharps. And if you're raising the 2 chord, then you're going to have the 4 sharp is going to come into your melody. That's how they get the sharps in there, by taking those naturally minor chords, raising them, and if you do that to all 3 minors, you brought the 3 sharps into the melody.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so anytime I look at a piece of music, and the minute I see sharps in there, I look and see, well, if it's a 1 sharp, I know the 6 chord's being modified. If it's a 4 sharp, I know the 2's being modified. If I'm playing in minor, for instance, and the 5 has a sharp in it, then I know they're raising the 5 chord to a major chord rather than using the natural minor.
Okay.
And those happen a lot. And all of your alternate keys come from those. That's the first step to getting chromatic, or getting out of the system. It's the first step out of the system. Okay, so then the other thing is, what else can I do with this? Harder. If I do dot, if I go long, short, I mean short, long, where I do now 2, 3, and then I go 3, 4, and I'm doing dot. Now what's going to happen is that's harder to do, because you have to do this.
Yeah. That's generally how I play. But usually it's almost like though, but this is almost like legs behind a little bit,
Yeah.
Or
Or what you do is you cut it off to make a little white space here. So-
1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, so there we go.
So reversing the figure and going short, long, short, long, short, long, and again going up the scale and down the scale, you practice that and you'll get a feel for it rhythmically. And then just move it with your ear and stop paying attention to your fingers, and then it'll just start happening for you. Okay? The other thing is they can both be short. You can have short, short, right? So I can go. both be short, or I can go long. Just connecting everything. Now it turns out that's all you can do. There are no more. So by doing this, I've mechanically gone through every possibility that I can do with the 2-note phrases. And I've used every phrasing I can. There's only 4 possibilities. Usually I say there's 2 and then they're opposites. You'll see that pops up a lot. You get 2 things and then they're opposites. so that there's and then long, long. See, so it'd be 1, 2, and then 2, 3, long, long. So those are that'll give you all the chops and technique you need. Now the next thing is 3-note phrases. Now, whenever you start doing odd numbers, that's kind of fun. And it goes like this. You have to go back. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 1, 7, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 7. Now, the thing about triplets or 4s, 5s, or 3s or 7s is because they're odd numbers and they're shifting back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. They're actually fun to play, and they're more musical. And once you get used to that pattern, you'll find out that triplets going tap 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 pum 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 is pretty easy to do. And so you're getting that pum pum pum. And doing that, so now the pattern for 3 notes in groups of 3 notes. And by the way, I don't know of any single exercise that helps you develop more technique and chops than that one.
Yeah, that's just
I do
cool.
that on trumpets, I do that on trombones, I do that on horns, I do that with flutes, I do that with clarinets, and when I get these people who come in and say, I've been studying flute with this other teacher and I'm not getting anywhere, I sit down and I show them this, and within 2 weeks they just all of a sudden start playing, and they go, well, why the fuck didn't the other guy do that? Because he just, no, I've got 71 fucking years of experience, what do you want? I've been playing since I was 4 fucking years old. I can't look at it.
Right.
I've got over half a century of experience, so you can't expect someone who's been playing for 20 years to catch up.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, people get their own little ritual, and then they don't realize that that's something they've developed for themselves, and it might not work on somebody else.
Right.
So they try it, and somebody else doesn't get it. And what you got to do is you got to stop and think as a teacher. Well, how the fuck did I first learn it? Can I do this a different way? Maybe I can get into the student's head and figure out what it is they like. So if I find out you like auto mechanics, then I'm going to figure out a way to teach you how to do it using auto mechanics.
So I see. I was a technician for GM for 18 years, and I retired to play music. But that's why the number system seems so. It's mechanical.
It is.
Absolutely. And music is.
It's mathematical.
It is.
It
very much is. Yeah.
Now what we're doing is we're doing this. We're going 1, 2, 3, and then backing up and going 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, etc. All the way back up to 1, up to
the octave.
Up to 6, 7, 1. Then you go 7, 1, 2. You go past it and then come back to the 1. It'll go 1 note past it naturally. And then you start with the 2. 2, 1, 7, 7, 1, 7, 6, 7, 6, and you come on down and you come all the way down, you go 2, you go 3, 2, 1, 1, and 2, 1, 7, 1. So you get that little turn figure at the end and it feels like it's done. And again, what am I going to do here? I'm going to go short, long, long, or long, long, short, or short, long, or short, long, short, it's fucking Morse code.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding.
Honest to God, it's Morse
I love
code.
that.
When I studied Morse code as a kid, I realized it was rhythm. So it's just a matter of short and long patterns. And by changing these short and long patterns, you're changing the phrasing on the thing enough to make it musical. And you're developing more subtle technique with your fingers rather than just barreling through the thing in the same way all the time. All right? So I'm learning every possible way of playing 3 notes. So then the next thing is 4-note phrases.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now it would be 1,
5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Gotcha. Interesting.
so when you get up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dig it? So now you got 4-note phrases. And by the way, almost never in music will you see a 5-note or 6-note phrase. Almost never. Now 5 notes do come up once in a while, and I practice 5 notes. I also go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That old piano thing they used to do. You see kids suffering at the piano going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then I do 1, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3. Then et cetera, et cetera. So then I do 5-note phrases, and that's it. That's it. And if that's all you do every day for a warm-up, you will develop chops so fucking fast, it will blow your mind. Because all chops come from those little patterns, okay? Now, the other thing I want to lay on you is what happens with the pinky. And this is the other pattern that you can play, where you start with the pinky as your 1, and then you move over, you come back 4 frets to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right here you have to go up to 7, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5.
Interesting. Are we? Oh, we're still doing major.
Yeah, still major. So it's still. So here, if I'm doing it in A, I mean, now I can go here, or from 6, 7, 1, and I prefer to go to that 7 rather than that one.
Yep.
And then you got.
That way you're instead of coming back, you're just back a little ways and you're.
And this is the one that nobody practices and you ought to. And I'll tell you why. Because this one links with that one. See what finger you end on?
Yeah,
Now you're doing that. Now you're doing that pattern. Okay? You're doing that pattern. And then what happens? Where does that one wind up? On that finger. So these two interlock.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can almost see how it's almost like a candy cane. They kind of spiral around,
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're
Exactly.
saying.
So this one and the other one are the two you want to practice, and you want to practice your scales on both of them till they're independent. And what you'll find is if you start on your middle finger, you'll end on your pinky, and then you just take off from your pinky, you learn that thing, and you'll end on your middle finger. And those guys interlock. And then when you start sliding them to offset so you can get across the whole guitar, it all makes sense. And they'll always interlock beautifully like a puzzle that always fits no matter what. But that first pattern is odd. It never fits. It never quite fits in. So those are the two things you should really study. Coming off of your pinky and coming off of your middle finger.
Okay.
and you practice them until your fingers are
If I
bloody.
borrow your pencil real quick? I'm
Yeah.
just gonna do one thing.
So you can keep those.
Thank you.
Now, to get to what you want before Kathy gets here, she'll get here in 5 minutes.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right.
I will be tomorrow. I think we're gonna stay here tonight, and then tomorrow I'll be on time.
Yeah. And then we'll have a little more time too. Today, Tuesday's my busiest day.
Okay.
And the other thing is reading music by number. Now here's the nice thing. It doesn't matter whether it's a bass clef, treble clef, alto clef, soprano clef, tenor clef. The clefs don't fucking matter at all. The only reason for the clef is to give you a name, position on the staff somewhere, so you can start naming the notes A, B, C, D, F, G. So you got some point to take off from. But once you figure out where one is or where the name of the note is, you don't need the clef after that.
See, he was my roommate. He's an amazing musician. I mean, he's played in over 300 countries. He's been around the world, and he's a music teacher.
Right.
And he played his sax. He was a clarinet major.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's a horn. But so when I ask him questions, he can't really show me on strings, but he can explain it to me. And I asked him, what's the point? And he basically said, well, you got this line. Otherwise, if you're trying to do it, it's going to be a bunch of these lines. And we're just narrowing it down, easier for the eyes to read.
What do you know about computer fonts?
Well, I mean, yeah, different fonts.
Right? Different fonts.
Same letters,
Well,
different way they're writing.
okay, you'll notice that when you buy a computer, it usually comes with 10 or 16 fonts already built in. And if you buy a printer, it has these 16 Adobe fonts. A friend of mine, Lion Kuntz, was the guy who created those fonts. For those that he created what's called the PostScript fonts. He had a thing called Fontography was his company, and he created those fonts. And Hewlett Packard bought them, stuck them in everything. One of the fonts that people don't use is called Gothic, or Old Roman numerals Gothic.
Yeah.
Now Gothic, what Gothic is, it's an attempt to add as many florals and flower patterns and leaves, as many leaves and stems and stuff as you can. So what people don't realize is that these clefs are actually the letter name in the Old English font. So if I want the letter G, all right, in Old English, what they would do is they'd put a little swirl there, they'd add a little swirl here, they'd put a little swirl there, maybe an up swirl here, and sometimes they'll put a little thing here with a little, like that, okay? If I keep doing that, imagine, watch. All this is the letter G
Oh, I see.
done
Yeah.
in the old Roman, in the old Gothic. They started using these in the 11th century when people wrote like that. So what that is actually the letter G. And what it's doing is it's showing you where the letter G is. You see where you see it crosses right there, that line. So it's saying that line is the letter G.
Yep.
Now here's the one that nobody gets. Well, Mr. Natural, what letter is the bass clef? Well, what if I did this? Okay, now what if I get rid of this? Round it out.
I think I'll take a 7.
It's still the letter. If you take these dots and pull them over, it's still the letter F. And what it's doing is this thing here and these dots here show you where the line is going to go.
Okay.
And that tells you which one of these lines is the letter F. Because it's actually the letter F. It's just like a doctor with, trying to do it fast instead of doing swirl.
So then is F and G, I know what you call it, 2 halves, a whole step.
No, don't worry about that. Whole steps, half steps, doesn't matter. What it is that the clef is actually the letter F. And it doesn't matter which line I put it on. We happen to be putting it traditionally on one line, but I literally can put it anywhere if I want to. And you'll see in old orchestra music, when you start getting into 15th, 16th century orchestra music, this bass clef is in every position, every line, eventually. But what it always does is it tells you where the letter name F is. So in the case of the bass clef, they put it right here and put the 2 dots on either side. to let you know that that line coming right down the middle is the letter name F. Now, the alphabet goes from A to G. We go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So to make it simple, this is what I do. The top line is A, starts the whole thing, and the bottom line is G, which ends the whole pattern, and there it is. Now you don't even need this. Now you know what to call it. If this is G, then here's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A.
Okay.
Or if you can say it backwards, A, G, F, E, D, C, D, A, G, F, E, D, etc., etc. But if you just remember, the top is A and the bottom is G, and everything just fills out in between. That's the easiest way to remember the
Handout
names.
for you.
Oh, thank you.
Circle of fifths. Thirds.
Circle of thirds.
That's how you spell everything, chords and staff reading.
Now, there are
Okay.
two ways, just too quickly before I get to her, there are two ways of learning to spell. One with the ABCs and one with the 1, 2, 3s. If you use the 1, 2, 3, the circle of thirds will spell every chord. For instance, a 1 chord is 1, 3, 5. A 3 chord is 3, 5, 7. It's minor. A 7 chord is 7, 2, 4. It's diminished. A 2 chord is 2, 4, 6. It's minor. A 4 chord is 4, 6, 1. Major. The 5 chord is 5, 7, 2. Major. You just learn which of these are major. Turns out this is major. That's always major. That's always major. This is minor. That's minor. And that's minor. You'll notice that they're actually the same Y-shaped pattern. And the 7 is always diminished. But that would spell every chord. And if you want to do jazz chords, what they do is they go 4 chords wide instead of 3. So a jazz chord would be 1, 3, 5, 7 would be your 1 chord. Your 5 chord would be 5, 7, 2, and 4. And that's why when you see a 5, 7, it's 5, 7, 2 plus the 7th, which is the number 4. We're just adding one more
Yeah.
note
More
to that.
skip.
Yeah.
If I want a 2 minor 7th chord, 2, 4, 6, I add the 1. So the pattern is good on. If I want a 4 7th chord, it would be 4, 6, 1, 3.
Gotcha.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
that simple. And every chord you can think of in the diatonic scale is spelled like that.
On a
Usually
third-
three
on a
three
third
chords,
seven, it's a 3, 5, 7.
3 notes if you're playing normal music or pop music,
Yeah.
4 notes if you're playing jazz.
Okay.
Just that simple. Okay. Now here's how it works with the ABCs. It's I guess I can say this. Is FART a bad word for you guys? Fart? Okay, good. Here's how you learn this. You can start like this. All cars eat gas, but don't fart. And there's this circle of thirds being spelled out. All cars eat gas, but don't fart. So if I want a C chord, it's cars eat gas. C, G.
Yeah.
If I want a C7th chord, it would be cars eat gas, but. And it would be a B, or if it's a dominant chord, we would make this a flat. Well, let's make the 7th a flat, so it would be 7 flat.
Yeah.
Right? So if I wanted a 5 chord, it would be gas, but don't fart. G, B, D, F. And again, that little poem, all cars eat gas but don't fart, is the way to spell every chord known to mankind. Again, if I only take 3 of them, I get 3 note chords. If I take their diatonic chords, if I take 4 of them, I'm getting the jazz chords. It's just that simple. Now, you can do the same thing to read. We know all cars eat gas, but don't fart. All cars eat gas, but don't fart. All cars. You can go all the way from the treble clef down to the bass clef. Every other note is going to be that pattern. And it doesn't matter whether it starts on a line or a space, it's always going to be that pattern. The same thing happens with the numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7. So if I'm doing the staff, and let's say we're in the key of G down here. So that would be 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1. There. And do that. 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7 is every other. If this is on a line, then these would all be on a line. If this were on a space, for instance, if I'm starting in the key of A here, A, then that would be 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. And that's how we're going to learn to read. Tomorrow we're going to work on that, and I'm going to drill you to be able to read. Also on my website, do you have any kind of computer you can look at tonight? Did you bring something with you? You can look at the web?
I can use my phone.
You can use your phone?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to write this down where I want you to go.
I'll study this in there.
I want you to go to youtube.com/ strictly
That's where I found it.
the numbers. Strictly by the numbers.
Okay.
And my website is there. If you go there, you'll notice that there's a thing that says playlists. And one of the playlists has 37 or 39 videos, and it says learn to read by number.
Okay. Yep.
Do that. Just start those drills. Hit that playlist, and then I rap for 15 minutes. You can just skip that and go to the second one. And what I do is I immediately start getting into teaching you how to read by number on the staff.
Okay.
And it's a set of drills, and we'll do the drills tomorrow. If you get a chance to look at them tonight, please do.
I will do that.
Okay? So, sorry, but tomorrow we can spend more time.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about the whole
No, that's all right.
showing up.
And thank you, Katie, for being so patient. Came all the way from back east just to meet me for 2 days and learn to do as much on the bass guitar as we can in 2 days.
And we left Santa Cruz like 3 hours early and still got here late.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okie doke. Well, tomorrow we'll do more.
okay, that goes.
So, did you bring your violin or your guitar?
Violet.
Oh, good.
Right here.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get in there.
What a day I've had. I think I've taught
Can I get your email
almost every
address?
instrument today.
Okay, it's gonna be.
Did you
Oh,
turn the
thank you so
camera off,
much.
Mitch?
I will. By the way, Katie, I appreciate you crying for me. Okay, that shows that you know what that means. That means that you're sincere and that you really meant something because you were disappointed about disappointing me, and I want to say thank
You
you.
know, if you don't get
Your
everything.
tears
you
are a
need,
very,
then you
very
must have
pleasant
something.
thing. Now, if you had done something and didn't cry, I would have been
Okay,
so
and then-
upset.
I just-
That, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that you cared, that means something, and I appreciate that.
Dash or, we
By
have,
the way, if you
little
break a
square
thing,
card reader we
things can
card
be
reader
fixed.
as well.
Okay, either one's
But
fine.
when you
I can
break
do it
people,
now, or I can do it tomorrow.
they're hard to
If you want
fix.
cash, I can bring cash.
Okay? So it's more important not to break people than it is things. Things can always be fixed.
We can do it now.
So don't get too frustrated over things being broken, okay? Yes, I had it fixed already, except for the bell.
$100 for 4.
The bell now has this cute
And
little
then
kink
you
in
want a
it.
fifth, we
See?
can negotiate that. We'll see if we have
Cover
time
that.
for a fifth.
Put it over there.
Let me get my
See, the
reader.
bell has that little crunch in it, which is okay. It doesn't hurt the bell at all. Not at all. My French horn is all crunched up too. What was hard was the two tuning, the slide. That thing got bent, and I had to have it. I had to have it straight. And it took a professional to straighten it out, because those two things have got to be perfectly straight all the way down to get the slide to work.
Definitely coming back tomorrow.
And the guy only charged me $10 because he knew me, he was a friend of mine, so there's no,
I mean,
so it's no problem, I got it fixed by a friend. If I had to have that fixed by a professional, they would charge me hundreds of dollars for
That's a good deal.
what's essentially nothing. No, you know, it's a simple fix.
Yeah. I practiced all the way, you know, and I just like
My favorite app.
Yes, I would love to
I
get it.
bet.
And I went out and got some wrecks for my guitar, for my violin.
And now he wants to play a fiddle tune, Fire on the Mountain.
Oh, that is a good thing too.
Because we're gonna have a performance
Yes.
at the end of my school year, but if kids are like doing well,
I don't think there is, but here's the
he's gonna take it to like a special performance with like
Well,
a violin.
I got a pleasant compliment
Yeah.
the other day.
From 4 till 6:30.
Maisie came, and she, you know, she's playing violin now,
From 6:30
and I have a
till
couple
8,
other students now, like you have, switched to violin, and
Yeah.
3 of my 4 violin students were complimented by their teacher in school for being able to play so well. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Well, that's interesting, because you know what? I had that same song out here the other day.
Which song?
This one, Allegretto.
Yeah, I think like last week or so, like you were playing the song like
Yeah.
before too.
So I want to show you what I did to my violin. Is I put frets. See these?
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Did you paint those?
No, this is a little thing that you buy that you can paste on top of here. And you see those are, if you feel them, they're raised.
That makes a fun
See, they're raised, so you can actually feel them with your fingers.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's what I did. So I put frets on.
The news is getting interesting, Mr. Natural.
I told you that
Why?
Never a dull minute, huh?
when our new Agent Orange president took over, that
Yeah, I made him a rhyme for
The
him.
Russian thing there's an FBI investigation because they've confirmed with Intercept's phone records what they reported and blew off in November about the context for the campaign.
a couple of weeks ago the CIA said publicly that they didn't want to tell Donald any of the really interesting stuff that had to do with national security because they were afraid that he would Twitter about it. Now, when the CIA says that publicly, we don't have any confidence in the president. We can't tell them any of our secrets.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Then you have another branch of government. And I've been telling everybody since this whole thing, I said, if Trump wins, you do realize that what this is going to do is test the system that we have. And to me, I'm looking forward to that. Because if there's anything that America needs right now, it's for the judiciary to clearly split itself away from the executive.
Right.
We need the House of Representatives and the senators to clearly separate themselves
They're
from
cowards.
Yeah, I know they're
No
cowards.
faith in them.
Yeah.
So
So what we need is these separations of the 3 powers to separate themselves and to get some nookies and go out there and do something. Just because you have a president that nobody particularly likes or is an idiot doesn't mean America should collapse. That was why our very smart founders realized they were building a system for dummies.
Yeah.
And they knew that.
That's
So,
what I need to be writing all those Republicans. Remember, it's a separation of powers. You are
Do you think that?
correct. And because of the separations of powers, it will save our butt.
Do you think that's true?
It's what happened with Nixon. You know, Nixon started to become such a power monger that we realized that he would probably become dictator of the United States. And he had a big accident, and everyone was sitting around waiting for that accident, and then trounced. You know, and that was really nice to see.
Yeah, I don't think this is compared to
Let me
that.
check it. I got that one. That's right. Well, mine's right. Let me get yours in tune, okay?
Yeah, compared to yours.
Let me get
enough to
June
decide.
40 true. So here, you see this little meter? Now watch what happens when I play a note on the meter.
Okay, yeah.
Now look at these numbers over here on the side. What does it say?
It says
29, right?
that's not good.
Well, that's how high it is. If it said minus, that would be low. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this. I'm going to turn it counterclockwise until that gets as close to 1. Now we're at 17. I'm getting closer. I'll tune it a little bit more. Now I've got, look, 2. If you get within 5 or 10,
Like this.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Do you know the app on the iPad or phone or something called Guitar Tuna?
Yes.
Is that a good app for tuning?
Mm.
I tune my guitar with it.
Yes, a lot of tuners that you tune your guitar are good for violin as well.
Really?
Yes, but you have to make sure that they're not in guitar mode. They have to be in what's called chromatic mode.
Yeah, mine is in guitar mode right now.
Yeah, see, then it's only going to show you the notes on the guitar.
Yeah, I don't tune with the violin. Yeah, I wanted to say, is that a good tuning, like, it says like #1 tuning thing in America, but I doubt that. But anyway, like, is that a good, like, tuning site thing to go on?
Down a little. Well, that's a lot closer. Ah. Now G. Oh, look, your G is minus 46.
Oh yeah, that's low.
That's really low. So now I went the other way. I went too high. There we go. Let's
Guys
see.
have a chance? You want to try the latest number song I created? See if it sounds right? It's okay with me. I made a copy for you anyway.
Top of spaghetti. Did you write that song?
I didn't write the song, no, but I wrote the notes out.
On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. It rolled off the table and onto the floor, and then my poor meatball rolled out of the door. It rolled in the garden and under a bush, and then my poor meatball was nothing but mush. Well, actually, there's another one about a car coming by and squishing the meatball and stuff.
Oh, I
There's
don't
there's
remember
4 or
that
5. There's I think 4 or 5 versions of this, Angel.
It says that the mush was so tasty.
So tasty.
Yeah.
I tasted
And what you want is you want the original version done by a guy named Dick Bianti, who was a Chicago DJ who was the one that made up this song.
Oh, really?
Yes. Dick Bianti.
Dick Bianti.
Dick Bianti, and you can look it up on the internet. And when you look at the things, when you look up that on your YouTube, it'll show you the one that Dick Bianti did. That's the original, and it's funny.
I'm